Hello guys, today I'm here again with a new reading passage named as An Introduction to Film Sound. So today I am here with 5 multiple choice questions which are not quite easy according to students' feedback. So I decided to make a video on this one. I would say that multiple choice questions are more difficult than true false not given. True false not given are generally considered difficult by those students who are not kind of understanding the question and then answering it. On the contrary, my students who are understanding the question, learning how to negate that and then finding the answer, for such students true false not given is just a piece of cake. But multiple choice questions are more difficult than true false not given. So let's discuss. So the very first question is, in the first paragraph the writer makes a point that. So what you have to do is, whenever you are doing multiple choice questions in your exam, never ever look at the options. If you will look at the options, you won't be able to find the correct answer, because you will find that all are almost similar. So if you first read the options and then you will go to the location, then probably the answer would go wrong. However, if you just understand the location, understand the paragraph and then eliminate, it will be a cakewalk for you guys. So just follow this method. So the question is, in the first paragraph the writer makes a point that. So we have to understand the first paragraph. So let's see. All right. Though we might think of film as an essentially visual experience, we really cannot afford to underestimate the importance of film sound. That means, though we might think of film as an, so basically, generally we think that, when we watch a film, then it is just a visual experience. But in actual, what does the writer say? The writer says we really cannot afford to underestimate the importance of film sounds. That means he says that yes, visual experience is there, but you cannot ignore the sounds. Alright? A meaningful sound, and then again he's talking about sound. A meaningful soundtrack is often as complicated as the image on the screen and is ultimately just as much the responsibility of the director. Okay, so in these 4 lines there is a talk about film sound and then again film sound. As of now, there is nothing more than sound. Let's analyze it further, because we have to read the entire paragraph and then only we will be able to have a summary of this one, and then the elimination gets easier. The entire soundtrack, then again he's talking about soundtrack, then he's talking like, what does that consist of? Consists of 3 essential ingredients, the human voice sound. Okay, so this again talks about sound. These 3 tracks, these things must be mixed and balanced so as to produce necessary emphasis, which in turn create desired effects. Okay, desired effects related to sound probably. As of now, what's the summary? Just soundtrack, like the importance of soundtrack. Basically, he says that visual experience is undoubtedly there, but the sound cannot be ignored. Topics which essentially refer to the 3 previously mentioned tracks are discussed below. They include dialogue, synchronous and asynchronous sound, again sound. So as of now, this entire paragraph talks about sound. Okay, now you have to look at the options. I am pretty sure that you would be able to get the correct answer, and very easily. Again, just think that what the summary of the paragraph was. He was talking about initially, like in the initial lines, he was talking about sound and visuals. he said that visuals are all good, but sound cannot be ignored. And then throughout the paragraph, he laid emphasis on the sound. All right, let's eliminate. The director should plan. Should. Is there any suggestion given in the paragraph? No. So there is no suggestion. So we'll eliminate just by reading the first option till here. But still we'll read the entire sentence. The director should plan the soundtrack at an early stage, and moreover there is nothing talked about early stage, so we'll eliminate this one. It would be wrong to overlook the contribution of sound, okay, to the artistry of films. It would be wrong to overlook means you cannot underestimate the value of the sound. He said, do you remember in first 3 lines he said that although visual is there, comma, sound cannot be overlooked. So the synonym for the word overlook was underestimate. So we are able to, find the word sound, and moreover we are also able to find the synonym to overlook, that was underestimate. So most probably this is the answer, although we have not read it properly. So he says it would be wrong to overlook the contribution of sound to the artistry. Yes, so he says that it would be wrong if you would underestimate the power of sound. So this seems to be the answer. Let's eliminate the other ones as well, so as to make sure that this is 100% correct. The music industry can have a beneficial influence on sound in film. Okay, he talks about sound, but he didn't say that if the sound is good, the industry, would have a lot of benefits or something like that. So benefits are not talked about, but there is a comparison between, not a comparison basically. So there are 2 things which are talked about. One is visual and the other one is sound. So this seems more appropriate. It is important for those working on sound and film to have a sole responsibility. Sole means only. Only they are responsible for the sound, only. So this word is not there. That only that particular person is responsible for the sound. So even this is not talked about. So answer is B, because clearly it says that it is wrong to underestimate the power of sound. See how easy it is. One reason that the writer refers to Humphrey Bogart is to exemplify. Okay, so he has mentioned. So we will not read the options. We'll just jump to the location, and then we'll understand it, and then we will eliminate it. One reason that the writer refers. So why is he referring this person? So where's that? Okay, so here it is. So the location would probably be here. Let's discuss. Let us start with dialogue. As in the case with stage drama, dialogue serves to tell the story and expresses feelings and motivations of character as well. Okay. Often with film characterization, the audience perceives little or no difference between the character and the actor. Thus, for example, it means he is giving example to justify this thing. Thus, for example, the actor Humphrey Bogart is the character Sam Spade. Film personality, so film personality and life personality seem to merge. Perhaps this is because the very texture of a performer's voice supplies an element of character. Okay, so he talks about real life and film life. So I'm not able to understand, so we'll read it again. So this will happen with you as well. So you will not just read it and then just have your answer, but you would understand it properly, and then you will be able to get your answer 100% correct. As in the case with stage drama, dialogues, so he talks about dialogue serves to tell the story. So dialogue tells about the story, and dialogue also expresses the feelings, and it also motivations and characters as well. And okay, so basically he talks about dialogue serves to tell the story, expresses feelings and motivations of the character. So these are the benefits and everything about dialogue. And okay, often with film characterization, the audience perceives little or no difference between the character. Okay, then he talks about that film, the audience do not basically feel the difference between the character and the actor and the actor. Thus, for example, this the actor Humphrey Bogart is the character, film personality, and life personality. Okay, so basically he talks about two things. One is the film personality, and then is the real personality. That means he talks about character and the actor, and then he gives example that this person seems this, Humphrey Bogart and Sam Spade. So he talks about two people. One is character and the one is actor. I mean, one is in the real life, one is a real life personality, and the other one is film personality. Okay, so we have to find the option which talks about film personality and real life personality, something like that. Okay, so one reason that the writer refers to Humphrey Bogart is to exemplify the importance of the actor and the character. Okay, actor and the character. So it's very clear. We are lucky that we need not to go further, because the first says the importance of actor and character appearing to have similar personalities, and it talks that audience is not able to get that difference between both. So there, according to them, there is little or no difference between character and actor. And this also says the same. The importance of actor and character appears to have similar personalities. Let's eliminate other one. The audiences wish that actors are visually appropriate for the role. So it talks nothing about the audience's wish that they want actors to be visually appropriate for that role. The value of the actor having had similar feelings to the character. So it doesn't talk about any kind of feeling. It is talking about feelings, but it's not talking about the value. How important is it for of the actor having similar feeling to the character? Yes, so it's not important that actor should have the same feeling as that to the character he is playing. Audience's preference for dialogue to be authentic. So authenticity is not talked about. So it talks about the difference between both. I mean, they say that finding a difference between them is difficult, so means these are similar. In the third paragraph, the writer suggests that when voice textures fit the performer's physiognomy and gestures, a whole and very realistic persona emerges. Okay. Okay, then he talks about voice. When voice texture fit the performer's physiognomy and gestures, a whole and a very realistic persona images. Okay, so voice texture has a very important role to play. When this voice texture fits the performer's personality and gestures, basically, so a realistic thing appears. The viewer sees not an actor working at his craft, but another human being struggling with life. Okay, so they do not see actor, but okay, so they feel that it is the view or the scene is realistic, so they don't see it as a work of an actor, but they perceive it to be a real human being. It is interesting to note that how dialogue is used, and the very amount of dialogue used varies widely among films. For example, in the highly successful science fiction film This, little dialogue was evident, and most of it was banal and of little intrinsic interest in the way the filmmaker was able to portray what Thomas Saussure the inadequacy of human responses when compared with the magnificent technology created by man and the visual beauties of the universe. Alright, so he talks about voice basically, and then he talks about, he gives an example where he says that even if the dialogue, little dialogue was evident, even if the dialogue was not evident and was of little intrinsic interest for the audience, it was successful. So although it neither had dialogue nor people were quite interested, the film was successful. And even here they talk about the voice texture, that the voice is very important, and sometimes the dialogue was dialogue is not evident, but still it's successful. Okay, despite not having some important things, the film is successful. Okay, so the answer is related to that. 16th, in the third paragraph, the writer suggests that audience are likely to be critical of film dialogue that does not reflect their own experience. So it doesn't talk about own experience. Film dialogue that appears to be dull may have a specific purpose. Appears to be dull. He talks about two things. That is it was of little interest, and other one was the dialogue was not evident. That means it was dull. Film dialogue that appears to be dull may have a specific purpose. Even if it was dull, it was successful. So the director intentionally made the scene appear dull to make it more successful. So some scenes are quite, they're quite dull, but they are put in between to attract, or maybe to attract the curiosity of viewers. So this particular thing is done to make the movie successful. That's why he says that there was a movie which was although dull, but still it was successful. So he talks about the fact that film dialogue that appear to be dull may have a specific purpose. Okay, so it's so such type of dialogues are put there intentionally to make it successful. So this is the answer. Filmmakers may considerably in the skill with which they handle dialogue. So skill, no, nothing is talked about skill. The most successful films are those with dialogue of no. This could never be the answer, because he says even if it was dialogue was not evident, still the film was successful. But it says the opposite, that most successful films are those where dialogue is of high quality. So this can never be the answer. So B is the answer. What does the writer suggest about bringing up baby? Okay, let's see. Here's the location. The comedy Bringing Up Baby, on the other hand, presents practically non-stop dialogue. So he talks about non-stop dialogue delivered at breakneck speed. So there is no stop in between. So the dialogue is put in a non-stop basically. So there is a no stop in between, I would say, while the dialogue was getting delivered. So it talks about speed. This use of dialogue underscores not only the dizzy. Okay, so when there is a dialogue which is being delivered without any speed by a particular person, particular character in the film, what does that show? This use of dialogue underscores not only the dizzy quality of the character played by this person, but also the absurdity of the film. All right. So he talks about whenever in the movie there is a dialogue which is delivered at the breakneck speed, then this particular thing does two things. One is it underscores the use of dialogue underscores not only the dizzy quality of the character. So character is being questioned, character of a particular person is being questioned when there is a dialogue of this type, but also the absurdity of the film and how absurd the film is, and thus its humor. So sometimes in a movie there is a very different or very crazy type of humor, And whenever a person is involved in such type of dialogue, then that that person's character is of dizzy quality and the film is absurd. The audience is bounced from gag to gag and conversation to conversation. So I mean, there is a lot of humor or something like that. And this also talks about a person. So if the person is throwing such kind of jokes, then the film is absurd, or maybe is not, is not having good and respected characters. Apart from that, the character is also of dizzy quality. All right, so let's eliminate. What does the writer suggest about bringing up baby? The plot suffers from the filmmaker's wish to focus on humorous dialogues. All right, the plot suffers from, so there is no drawback from the filmmaker's wish. So it's not like the filmmaker wanted to make the character appear respected. However, it was not the case. So it doesn't say that the plot suffers from the filmmaker's wish to focus. The dialogue helps to make it one of the best comedy films. So it's not talked about that because of the dialogue, the comedy film produced will be one of the best. So it's not the answer. There is a mismatch between the speed of the dialogue and the speed of section. Yes, so it talks about the speed of the dialogue, but because of the speed of the dialogue, the characters which are the key elements, so we are talking about them, but it doesn't say that there is a mismatch. The nature of the dialogue. Nature of the dialogue means, nature of the dialogue, what kind of nature of the dialogue is, it's delivered at breakneck speed, and it shows that the character is dizzy, film is absurd. So emphasizes the key elements. So key elements of the film are absurdity, dizzy character. So these are shown by the nature of the dialogue. Nature of the dialogue means the dialogue which was delivered at a breakneck speed. That means when a dialogue is delivered at a breakneck speed, it emphasizes the key elements of the film. Key elements of the film are two, which we were talking about, absurdity and dizzy character. So the answer is this. The writer refers to click of a door to make the point that realistic sounds are synchronous. Sound effects are those sounds which are synchronous or matched with what is viewed. For example, if the film portrays a character playing a piano, the sounds of the piano are projected. Synchronous sounds contribute to the realism of the film and also help to create particular. Okay, so here is the location. Click of the door. Click of the door being opened may simply serve to convince the audience that image portrayed is real. Okay. And the audience may not subconsciously note the expected sound. Okay, so this talks about click in a film or a dialogue. However, if the click of an opening door is part of omniscious action such as burglary, the sound mixture may call attention to the click with an increase in the volume. Okay, so in a film, when there is a bad incident happening such as burglary, then the audience is paying attention to the click, and there is an increase in the volume you must have noticed in the film. And it talks about burglary, and it relates burglary to the increase in the volume of the volume in a scene in the movie. And he also talks about click of the door being opened may simply serve to convince the audience. Okay, all right, so let's eliminate. The writer refers to the click of the door to make the point that realistic sounds are often used to give audience a false impression. Okay, it's basically not the false impression. I would say it's done to gain the attention of audience. So that's why there is a increase in the volume in a scene. whenever, for example, burglary is taking place. So not a false impression, may be interpreted in a different ways by different members. So it's not talking about different ways by different members. May be modified in order to manipulate the audience response to the film, tend to be more significant. So it's not talking about something more significant in films presenting realistic situation. May be modified, yes. So the sound could be modified because he talks about the volume of the sound increasing. That means may be modified. The sound realistic sound may be modified. So he says may be modified means it can be increased or decreased, because here he says attention of the Greek with an increase in volume. Increase in volume means volume can be increased or decreased, and here he says may be modified. So increased and decreased means may be modified. So realistic sounds may be modified. So they are modified in order to manipulate the audience's response. Manipulate the audience's response means previously he was thinking that the scene would just be a normal thing. However, when the sound increases, then the audience's response is manipulated, and he thinks that something bad is going to happen, such as in the scene of burglary. So the answer will be may be modified. The sound may be increased or decreased so that audience's response to the film can be manipulated. So answer is C. So this way you have to eliminate, and then only you will be able to go to the correct answer. I hope you are able to understand. If you have any doubts, just drop me a quick comment so that I can make you understand. Hope you like the video, and see you soon.